Good afternoon, everybody. Our next panel presentation will give you a glimpse into the future. Here's Overwatch, What's Next?
Hello, Blizzcon. It's hard to believe that we're already more than halfway through. Blizzcon is an event that I wish could last the whole week. During yesterday's opening ceremony, Aaron showed off a few things the team is working on. It feels great being up here with these brilliant people, working on all of the fantastic things coming soon to Overwatch 2. I'd like to kick things off this session with a quick intro. I've been Overwatch franchise GM since November 2021. While I spent most of my first year as executive producer of Overwatch 2, I'm now focused on guiding Overwatch at the franchise level. Way back in 2013, and early in my Blizzard career, the company made the decision to move forward with a project codenamed Prometheus. I remember sitting in the room that day and seeing the look of wonder in the eyes of everyone around the table. It wasn't about numbers or dev schedules. No, the magic in the room was created by imagination of the adventures to come in the Overwatch universe. I had a similar feeling again at Blizzcon in 2014. I sat in the crowd at opening ceremony, and I literally held my breath as the announcement of Overwatch approached. And as that Overwatch logo came up at the end of the first ever cinematic, the love in the hall felt as close to tangible as I've ever experienced. Since then, we've shared Overwatch as team-based PvP in the original game and now in Overwatch 2. And we also shared stories about our heroes in our cinematic pieces, comics, and short stories. But there are more stories to tell and brand new experiences, big and small, to share in the future. As GM, I'm leading the exploration to push the frontiers of Overwatch and to reach beyond. But today, we're very excited to talk about the cool things coming to Overwatch 2. We're going to show you stuff that's very much work in progress, and perhaps tell you things that would make marketing nervous. But we really want to give you as much visibility as we can into the future of the game. Before I hand it off to my teammates, I have some high-level context on where we're taking Overwatch 2 and our goals for the next year. We're focused on giving the millions of players in our game each day the very best PvP experience we can. While we'll be mixing in PvE events and modes and progressing storytelling, our main goal for Overwatch 2 is striving to make PvP gameplay more rewarding and more fun. For today, our intention is to focus primarily on how we are aiming to improve those elements of the game that we know are important to so many of you. To go through it all, we have members of our fantastic team here. I'd like to hand it off to Game Director Aaron Keller to introduce them. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. And hello, BlizzCon. So we are excited to share as many of the exciting things that our team has been working on as we can. I'm Aaron, and I am joined by our lead character concept artist, Daryl Tan, game producer, Monica Lee, associate art director, Peter Lee, hello, and senior system designer, Gavin Winter. Okay, so let's kick things off and get into it. Peter, can you talk to us about Clash?
All right. Hello, BlizzCon. I wish I have a Chris Metzen voice. What up, BlizzCon? Focus. All right. As you can see, I am super excited to be here and share some of the content that we prepared, especially for Clash Map. So before I jump in, let me share a cool video with you guys. So can we play the video? All right. Is this map looks familiar to everyone? Cool. Yeah, Hanamura is one of my favorite map. We'll talk more about that. But before I jump in, everything we are going to see today is very work in progress. And as a matter of fact, we were making a lot of changes even this week also. So please, look at this, screenshots and videos and concepts, as that, inside of your mind.
That big building in the back looks pretty familiar too.
I think that looks awesome, and we'll talk more about that. So our original 2CP maps were absolutely gorgeous. However, due to challenges we had with the 2CP mode, we had to remove some of those iconic maps, from our rotation, including Hanamura. There are beautiful, lots of beautiful maps in our game, yet Hanamura in particular has a special place in our heart for many reasons. Let me share my story. When you are trying to create a world that no one has seen before, there's a little bit of uncertainty and a lot of question, as you can imagine. Am I doing it right? What is the world that we are trying to build, Aaron? And as what Chris Madsen mentioned yesterday, sometimes very epic thing can start with a small heartfelt moment. And this is the perfect example. I still remember the day that I created this concept. I was walking down the back alley of the Japan street with the Google map, and I got obsessed about a small mom and pop store, and I loved it. And I was thinking, yes, let's expand this world with our lens. It was a magical moment that I cannot forget. Just like that, Hanamura was one of the first locations that really made a team feel, this is it. This is Overwatch. Yes, we can build this world. Our vision of this universe instantly became clear. So after we retired some of those iconic maps, we have wanted to find a way to bring them back because Hanamura is loved and known to our players and to our characters. Also, there were so many stories that we had developed around this city, right? So, now with this new Clash mode, it was our perfect opportunity to bring, our Hanamura back. However, the big question was, how can we do this without making it feel artificial? Considering we did not want to remove the original location from our game. Instead, we wanted to expand the world because identity is so important in our game. So we made a new section of Hanamura, a street right next to the original map. And we named our map Hanaoka, meaning flower hill. You can picture the image, right? When you play this map, you can even see some section of the original Hanamura, the map in the backdrop. As you can see in this screenshot, there is a famous Rikimaru ramen shop, and you can see the gate right behind it, right?
We all know what that gate is.
That's a famous choke point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, when you play this game, like, you should be able to tell where you are roughly. During this process, we also made a few new assets that can hint at the stories of Shimada clan and Hashimoto clan, also Kiriko's yokai group, and many others. So as an example, what you're seeing on the screen, the tiger represents Hashimoto clan, and the dragon represents the Shimada clan in our story. So we created this new wall painting, so subtly melting the story into our environment. I don't know if you can feel it, but every step and decision we made for this Hanaoka map was pretty exciting personally as a fanboy. And I hope this map also makes you excited as well.
Yeah, that joy that... That joy that Peter and his team have put into the Hanaoka map really is infectious. And we're very excited for players that loved Hanamura to re-experience it, and for players that are new to feel that wonder for the first time. All of our maps are these beautiful works, and Hanaoka pushes that even further. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Clash, it's the third new game mode that we've made for Overwatch 2. The third new game mode we've made for all of Overwatch after Push and Flashpoint. I think it's probably important to go into a bit of why we even make new game modes for Overwatch. We think it's really important to always be developing new maps, and we put out several of them every year. But each time we do it, when we build a map for a known game mode, one that we already have, we can only make so many changes to that map. Like an escort map, it's always going to have 3 sections, and we use really hard corners in those to provide choke points for the offense to get through. We try to provide as much variety in those, but we really can't make something completely different until we start working on an entirely new type of objective, entirely new types of game modes. Like if you look at something like one of our escort maps like Dorado, and then you compare that to something like our Flashpoint map like Suravasa, you can see those are very different levels. And they provide different, a different type of gameplay experience too. There's different strategies when you play on different types of game modes. There's different heroes and team compositions that you might want to pick. So we think it's really important for us to continue to do that. I don't know how long we'll continually make like a new game mode every year, but we're not at the point where we think we ought to stop yet. And so let's talk a little bit about the history of Clash and the history of 5CP, because Clash has 5 control points laid out in a row. This is not the first time the Overwatch team has tried to make a 5CP map. We originally started making it for Volskaya. Volskaya Heavy Industries started as a 5CP map. Our early prototypes were of that. And we had like 5 control points laid out in a row. And originally we called it Iron Star. These images right here were pieces that Peter did a long time ago as we were working on Iron Star. And I think you did these when we were on Project Titan before Overwatch, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, how old are these images, do you think?
I don't exactly recall, but I like it. It looks cool.
It's like maybe 2010 or something like that. And so we even had 5CP maps on Project Titan that we were doing. And we even had a variant of it that was a 3CP map. And when you look at 3CP, where there's like a point in the middle and one on each side, it's almost like a symmetrical version of Assault, or what the community would call 2CP for Overwatch. I'm assuming most of you know what it is. If you're new to Overwatch 2 and didn't play the original game, 2CP was a game mode where there was an offense and a defense, and the offense would try to capture 2 control points in a row. And we had a lot of issues with 2CP. that we were never really able to solve. And the two biggest ones, they're related to each other. The offense sometimes would just get stalled out at the first choke point in an assault map. And the way those maps were designed, because there's only two objectives, we really favored the defense from a level design point of view. But sometimes the offense would make no progress in the map, time would run out, they would lose. It felt like the match had like no story to it, almost like nothing even happened over the course of that game. And on the other side, sometimes because Overwatch can be a game that snowballs a bit, the offense would get an early pick, they'd win a team fight, instantly take the first point, they'd all have their ults, run to point B, wipe out the enemy team, and then like win the whole game or the round if it was competitive, and they could do all of this in under a minute.
30 seconds sometimes.
And yeah, in 30 seconds in like the most extreme examples. And it just felt like on the defense, you had like no opportunity to respond to that. Like the answer was like, you shouldn't have one person die very early in the match, you know? And it's like, it didn't work. So we spent months and months trying to fix it. And we never were really able to come up with something that worked that didn't require us to completely rebuild some of those maps. One of the things we did try was we like greatly expanded the cap time for those control points. It's like over a minute to take them some of the time. There was some promise there. It was a lot of fun. But the way those maps are built, defending a point from the defense never really worked. The map geometry didn't really like let that happen in like a fluid way. But we kind of always kept that in the back of our mind. So when we started to develop Clash, we thought of some of those experiments because we knew the community had a love for Assault, a love for 2CP, because when it played right, it was pretty amazing. Like, I really loved Assault. And so we started thinking of a version of it, maybe it's not a successor, but at least some of the mechanics were inspired by 2CP, and so we started working on Clash. And so I can get into a bit of the rules and the way Clash works. That, I guess, was the preamble for the way Clash works. I was a history major. I always go into the past before I get to the future, sorry. So there are 5 control points. And at the start of the game, each team owns the 2 control points that are closest to their side of the map. And the middle point is the neutral control point. That's the one that both teams are going to fight over. For all the people here at BlizzCon, you can think of it as BlizzCon. Point C is the Overwatch World Cup. The arena over here is point A, and the Warcraft section is point E, all the way down at the other end of the halls. The center control point is going to unlock, and both teams fight over that. When one team captures that, a new control point is going to unlock in the direction that the offense is moving. If you've played other multiplayer games with 5CP, typically those have 2 control points active at any time. We don't do it here. We just have one at a time. Every time we've tried to make more than one objective active for Overwatch, the game just doesn't work the same as it does. Like, some of the magic is gone. The magic of Overwatch is 2 teams working together for a common objective, and the heroes sort of like relying on each other to do that. In this example, point D would unlock. If team 1 were to take point D, they would, then point E would unlock. And if they were to actually go all the way through and capture point E, then team 1 would win. It doesn't happen that often. It's very defensive favor at that point. It even takes longer to capture as the offense. And so typically this match starts moving back and forth, and the offense will push a certain distance, and then they won't take the next point. The defense will take it, and then the defense starts moving. So it almost feels a little bit like 2CP, but you're moving back and forth across the map. Each of these points, when you take one, your team will score a point. So we do have a maximum score in there. Sometimes 5CP can devolve into these hour-long matches where nobody's able to push all the way through. That's our early out in this phase where you get to a certain score. We're still tuning that right now, but you'll hit a certain score, and then your team will also win right there.
Aaron, would you say it's our sweatiest game mode yet?
Some people on the team say that this is like the sweatiest version of Overwatch because you do move back and forth a lot. You have a lot of moments where there's a lot less chokes in a map like this. We don't have the same sort of chokes that 2CP did. So there's a lot of free movement back and forth, and there's a lot of cool strategies you can have. You know you're going to take a point sometimes, and you start pushing your team forward to start just getting a positional advantage on the next one. It can be really fun.
Yeah, something I really like about this process that we were developing this game, like not like we wait a long time before we finalize anything, and like we were just like quickly building it and blocking it out and put it in the game and test it and get the feedback and fix it and re-put it in the game. So that kind of collaboration between our team members was very meaningful and in a way very similar to this the fast sweetest game mode, the fast pace the game mode. So
yeah, it's like really interesting to think about. Like the team really came together for this. Our team has grown a lot over the years. We have a lot of new people on the Overwatch team, and this is the first time that we've actually created a new game mode from scratch with all new people on the team. Gavin Winter was a part of it. The level designer on it, Morton, he wasn't on the original Overwatch, and so these people like really came together. And it's like this new team, this new group of people that were able to pull this off. And I'm like so proud of all of them to be able to do something like this. Okay, so that's Clash. And we're going to talk a lot more about PvP changes coming to the game and heroes. But before we get into that, Monica, can you get into some of the PvE updates that are coming?
Yeah, super excited to be here chatting with you guys. PvE encompasses so many different things, and we are working on some really fun stuff for next year. For most of it, we don't have any specifics that we can share just yet. I know I'm a monster, I'm sorry. But it's really awesome to see how invested people are and what's going to happen with the Overwatch story, both canon and non-canon, with the heroes and the universe. The team has received some really great feedback from players that we're going through, and we're using all of that to inform how we develop all of the cool stuff coming next. But for right now, I'm really excited to share some major updates coming in Season 8 for Hero Mastery. The thing that I really love about Overwatch is that it isn't just one thing, there's something for everyone. For folks that wanted a solo challenge and leaderboard experience, we introduced Hero Mastery this past September. It's been so much fun for us to see players in the courses trying to top their previous scores and get better, so we're really excited to expand the roster of playable heroes.
Those scores go to the 100th of a second now.
That's too OP. Coming in Season 8, we'll have 5 new heroes joining Hero Mastery. Those will be Diva, Echo, Genji, Lucio, and Mei. Plus, we're also excited to have leaderboard resets go live with this update, and we'll also be introducing replay bookmarks, so you could rewatch parts of your gameplay and look for areas to improve your score.
I really enjoyed Hero Mastery. Personally, as being a support main, I don't support mains. As of being a support main, I don't get to play the tank too much. Like I wanted to, expand my hero roster, but I didn't have a proper introduction to that role. So Hero Mastery was the perfect opportunity for me to jump in and practice my skill. And especially when I was doing that with Reinhardt, it was such a great moment for me to learn the control of charge, when to charge, how to stop, how early should I stop. So that was just the very fun moment that I had with Hero Mastery. Yeah.
Are you a top 500 Reinhardt now?
Getting close.
Close. Soon. Keeping with the philosophy of having something for everyone, we don't want to limit the Hero Mastery experience for folks who want to play with their friends or maybe meet new ones in-game. For me, Overwatch has been a social game, and we're really looking forward to bringing that into Hero Mastery next year with Hero Mastery Gauntlet. This new 3-player co-op mode features the Hero Mastery Art Kit, bots, and all new gameplay that is focused on enemy waves and tower defense. We have some work in progress footage up here where you could see the 3 gauntlet towers, which are our objective points. The goal for the team is to defend the towers from attacking bots. There'll be exploding bots, flying bots, all sort of varieties there. And it's really fun to challenge juggling the defense of 3 towers, the different kinds of bots, and different ways to power up. And so as a result, you want to make sure that you are defending really well in your towers, getting power-ups on all of them. There's airstrikes that you could call in if you're being swarmed by bots, or you can generate healing for the entire team.
This is awesome. As I just shared, like I had a lot of fun with the Hero Mastery, right? But like now you can play Hero Mastery plus I'm a big fan of like a tower defense mode, and like you can do that with your friends.
Yeah.
Yep,
and there's leaderboards for this too. So like there's going to be like a crazy race when this one comes out. It's really, really hard too. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I played it recently, and my 2 of my towers just went down immediately. Gotta practice some more.
I had a really funny moment on Monday. We were doing a stream on J3's stream, and someone in the chat asked, would we ever do a tower defense mode? And I said, that is very interesting.
Interesting you asked that. When Gauntlet ships, we're gonna have heroes rotate seasonally, and we're also gonna have new custom rewards from challenges. We really want each game to feel highly replayable and really unique, so we're really excited for you all to jump into Gauntlet with your friends next year.
It's going to be super, super fun. Okay, so we've heard just a little bit of feedback on our competitive system since we did a rework last year, and we've listened to all of it. It's important for us to hear what you all have to say. So we've been hard at work on a pretty big overhaul to it, and Gavin is here to talk us through it.
Thanks, Aaron. First, I want to tell you about our approach to improving competitive play. So, as most of you know, we have some big problems to solve. We're not transparent about how we construct our matches, how your rank is determined, or how our rewards function. Most of you have all the golden weapons you'd ever want, so giving you competitive points doesn't feel great. And since we launched Overwatch 2, we've had issues with the way players are distributed at our highest and lowest ranks. But thankfully, though, these problems make our goals pretty straightforward. We need to put more feedback in the game about every aspect of competitive that we can. We need new rewards and improved clarity around how to get them. And we need to address the pain points. Things like how bad it feels to be on a loss streak.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We've heard that a lot. We've definitely heard that a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to have 14 losses.
No. So in Season 9, we're introducing a variety of changes to competitive play. First, we're removing the requirement to get 5 wins or 15 losses to get a competitive update. So, loss streaks would guarantee that you were going to rank down, so what's the incentive to keep playing if you're on one? In its place, we're adding a new page that makes your rank more transparent than ever. Let's go. We call this the competitive overview. With this new system, your rank will update after every match, win or loss. The progress bar at the bottom shows exactly how much your rank increased after this win. You can see that ranking up to Plat 5 is on the right, and ranking down to Gold 2 is on the left.
And when you hit that, so when you win a game and it hits Plat 5, you immediately rank up to Plat 5. You're not waiting extra games to do something like that. It just happens.
So we call those green arrows below that progress bar rank modifiers. They show why your rank changed the way it did. So, since we want to be as precise as possible. So these are explained in detail by the information button on this page, but an example here is streak. This one means you ranked up even more because you're on a win streak. We'll talk about that smaller progress bar in the top right in a moment, but as you can see at the bottom, we've also added a link that takes you straight to the final scoreboard.
Yeah, and there's also a rank progress. It might be hard to read. It's a little bit small on the screen, but it's right above that bar right there. And right now it says your rank progress is 85%. So you can see you're exactly 85% of the way to the next rank. There's a lot of people, when we get feedback, a lot of people were asking us to bring SR back. It was the system that we had on Overwatch 1. And we did have a few issues with SR, and maybe like two of the biggest ones are one, it was a very arbitrary number to just say you were 2374.
Arbitrary.
So,
2374. Everybody knows
Right.
what a 2374 is.
and it does, like we recognize it does take on meaning after a while for people that are playing with it. What we're hoping here is that you're gold 1 and you're 85. You're 85% of the way through gold 1, and that actually has more meaning for the vast majority of players. And also at the same time, the difference between a gold 3 and a gold 4 sometimes is it's like less than 4 wins away from each other. And so that wasn't necessarily conveyed very well through the SR system. We really like having these divisions in there, and we really want people to know precisely where they are in that division. And so that's the reason we went this way. Obviously, we listen to feedback, the system can evolve over time, but this is where it's at right now.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So when we launch Season 9, we'll also be resetting ranks and bringing placements back to Overwatch 2. So this isn't a full MMR reset, but it will give you a chance to make a big change to your rank because your placements games will count for a lot more. We want to do that every year, along with some big changes to our systems and hero balance. We want to give everyone a chance to earn a new rank because we'll also be redistributing players at all ranks. Those of you in Bronze 5, Silver 5, and Silver 4 know how hard it can be to rank up in our current system, and we can fix that with the redistribution. Those of you in Grandmaster 1 also know that we have more Grandmasters than we ever did in Overwatch 1. So, as part of this redistribution, we're also adding a new rank above Grandmaster called Ultimate. We want to update our competitive rewards every year, too. So in Season 9, we'll be adding Emerald Weapons. Now, this art's not final, but hopefully it gives you an idea of the types of rewards we want to add each new year.
I need those emerald Zenyatta balls. They look so cool.
Me too.
Oh my God.
So when we add Emerald Weapons, we'll convert all of our current competitive points into a legacy currency that you can still spend on golden weapons if you want. But to show these off, you'll need to earn competitive points in the new season.
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting about this, I love the new redesign, but there is this annual cadence that we are trying to bring into the competitive side in Overwatch. And I know when we first launched Overwatch 2, the seasonal reset and placement was very controversial. But this is going along with a whole set of additional rewards, a redistribution of players across the ranks. And we think that initial set of placements now is worth it to get everything else that we've got. And it's also like a really exciting moment for players to look forward to on an annual basis.
Yeah, every 2 months was probably way too often.
Yeah.
So going back to solving our problems. We know that the competitive challenges page was really confusing, and that was the only place to see how to earn our rewards. So we're removing competitive challenges and building a new page to show progress towards seasonal rewards. We think this page is a much cleaner way to show rewards and the requirements to get them. You may have also noticed that smaller progress bar in the top right again. Instead of our old end-of-season challenges that rewarded competitive points based on your final rank, wins and losses both progress you toward big payouts of competitive points. But just like our current weekly challenges, wins grant a lot of bonus progress. And another small improvement we're going to make is showing the range of ranks in the match instead of just the average. You can see that in the top left. We're also planning a lot of bigger changes after Season 9, like with grouping and competitive, for example. We want players to be able to play with their friends, so we'll be removing most of our current grouping restrictions. To do that, though, we have to rethink how we make competitive matches. So if you're a diamond player and you want to group with your bronze friend, we'll allow that, but we'll classify your group as a wide group. You'll only play against other wide groups. And we'll try to find groups with a similar shape as yours. So if you're a diamond tank and your friend is a bronze support, We'll try to find another diamond tank and bronze support for the other team. No promises. As you probably guessed, the existence of wide groups also means we'll have narrow groups. And this is great as a solo player because you'll only ever play with narrow groups or other solos. So we expect to see some big improvements to match quality for solo players.
I'm kind of excited because I used to play Overwatch with my kids, but they're teenagers and they just started getting better than me. And my oldest ended up becoming masters, and we couldn't even group together anymore. So now with this new system, he'll have to find another excuse to not play with me.
Yeah, literal skill issue. Another win is this gives us fewer Smurfs. Since the only way to avoid our current grouping restrictions right now to play with your friends is to create new accounts. So you won't need to do that anymore.
Cool. Okay, so that's the update on the competitive system. And you can't play comp without heroes. And I know we teased a few heroes in opening ceremony yesterday. And Daryl's team has created some amazing concept art to show for some of those heroes. Take it away.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Creating such a visually unique and beautiful game like Overwatch 2 takes a lot of time and iteration. In the Malga Deep Dive panel yesterday, the team went through some of these processes, from coming up with a hero idea, to drawing the concept art, to the modeling, then building their abilities, and actually putting it all into the game. We have a bunch of hero ideas and concepts always brewing. And during the opening ceremony, Aaron teased 2 of these heroes, so let's get into them. Next year, we'll be releasing 3 new heroes: a tank, a support, and a damage hero. Internally, we are already testing all 3 of these heroes in their various states.
And more. We're testing more heroes.
And more. And more. Always more. Even though they're already undergoing testing, we aren't ready to show all 3 of them just yet. The hero coming in Season 14 is far enough that we're going to keep that work to ourselves for now. I have to stress that a lot can still change this far out, including abilities and even their in-game models. But here is what we can show you. In Season 12, the next support hero will be released. Currently known on the development team by the codename Space Ranger. She will be our first hero for the Mars colony.
She's so cute. I love her so much.
Thanks, Monica. We aren't quite ready to show her in action just yet, but we do have some early concept art of what she currently looks like. Yeah. I won't dive into her kit either, but she's a highly mobile support hero who has quite a bit of vertical mobility. To that end, she has no lack of thrusters on her suits and all over her boots as well. And when we say that things are still changing, Space Ranger is a perfect example. Her gun has already changed from what we're showing here. Not only that, but as production moves along, we will inevitably run into other elements on her design we'll have to iterate on. When we fully reveal her for Season 12, we can talk about all the changes we made to her from the early drawings that you guys see over here to the final model and the final concepts. So, Space Ranger likes battling her foes from air and space. How about a hero now that battles from under the ground? In Season 10, you'll get to play as our newest damage hero, Venture. They are our second and a half Canadian hero. People often forget that Farah is half Canadian, myself included.
I'm half Canadian too.
The fantasy we're going for with Venture is that of a swashbuckling archaeologist. They have an unquenchable thirst for past treasures and hidden secrets, and will go any which way to get to them. And for Venture, that way is often down. Venture uses their powerful drill to dig through the map to attack the opposing team. Because this drill was so complex in its moving pieces, right, and has a lot of cylindrical geometry, Keijun Wang, our senior concept artist who worked on Venture, decided to employ 3D modeling early in the ideation phases, even for the weapon. And now I'll toss it over to Aaron to show you guys some of how this weapon works.
Yeah, okay, so we have some early gameplay footage of Venture from a recent playtest. Here we go, this is the loading screen. We always do those kind of like silly little portraits. One of our artists, Taki, does those before they're ready. burrowing underground is kind of amazing. So they can like burst up out of the ground, do additional damage, has vertical mobility to it. They move around the map really well. This weapon is amazing. It shoots a projectile out a set distance and it explodes right there. It's really nice to be able to hit people even around corners with that thing when they duck out of the way. The dig also, it's like the most important part of this is it makes you invulnerable, you know? So it's like you can't be hit when you're underground. It's a great way to escape. It's also a great way to get in close to players. You pop up like that, and then you have a dash as well. And so the dash, you can do it in the air. You can dash underground if you want to when you're moving. It's all around just like a really, really fun kit to use. We have this idea or this goal that we try to do with heroes on Overwatch, and I think we're able to hit it on DPS heroes a little bit more than some of the other ones. But as much as we can, we just want it to be fun to hit the buttons. You know, like move around a space and just kind of have like some joy there. And Venture, I think, is one of those heroes where they just are fun to hit the buttons with.
Hey, Aaron, to expand on that point, when I was playtesting Venture, I also literally, just kept hitting, the button, to borrow in and out, without any reason. But, it was feeling so snappy, just a big shout out to our animation and FX team to, make this happen.
Yep.
So this felt good.
Now we didn't show the ult. We're holding that till season 10 until we fully reveal the hero. So there's more to come. These are just some of the things that the team is working on. There's so much more. Next year, we'll like have a lot more things to talk to you about, a lot more things to reveal than we could have just fit here within 45 minutes.
I want to say that improving the overall play experience is really important to us. And this goes beyond just game modes and new heroes, but also how everyone engages with the game's meta systems. So one last thing I want to mention that I know people are really interested in is a set of changes and updates to the Battle Pass. An initiative we're working on for next year is a redesign of the Battle Pass. And we're deep in the process of working through this, which means we aren't ready yet to go through the details. But I want to give you a small glimpse of what we're thinking. One goal is to offer players more agency when it comes to the Mythic Skin reward. Let me talk through a couple of specific cases. Players progressing through the Premium Battle Pass today are able to unlock the latest Mythic Skin each season. But what if you don't play the hero with that Mythic Skin? It's going to make the Battle Pass a little less exciting to you. In a different case, you miss the chance to get Cyber Demon Genji because you weren't around to play that first season. What we want to do is to address both of these scenarios by giving you the option to earn any single Mythic Skin we've ever released when you play through the Premium Battle Pass. But beyond this, we're aiming to make play in Overwatch 2 more rewarding with a total set of changes to the Battle Pass. We'll have more to share on that next year. Some of what we presented may change between now and release, but we wanted to be as open as possible on what we're developing, planning, or even thinking about. And this doesn't even touch on the longer-term franchise plan, but that's really a discussion for another day. Finally, I want to say that everyone here represents hundreds of employees on our team who care so much about this game and this work, and we can't wait to release it all. Thank you, Blizzcon.
Yeah, I'll add on to that really quick. This team is made of like so many talented, amazing people, and this is just a small glimpse of everything that we're working on. And even a glimpse of things that we didn't talk about today, like an image of a Peru map that's coming in the future that we also started this presentation off with. And There was, I'm sure people will talk about it online in the next few days, some other Easter eggs in this presentation that kind of give hints at some of the things that are coming next year as well. So thank you everyone so much, and we'll see you on the streets of Hanaoka.